Everyone, it's Fun Around, and my name is Jordan, and I figured since I'm not going to be able to make a video on Sunday night and Monday night due to me being in Atlanta for the national championship game, I figured I'd do a full slate breakdown for Saturday, stay up a little bit later, dig in a little bit more for you guys. So if you do see an image that comes up on the screen, that's from a data app called Outlier. There will be a link in the description that will give you a 7-day free trial for Outlier. So lines are out for the first game of the day, which is a 4 p.m. game. I do have a pick from that, and then the rest of the games I will talk about them, give my thoughts on them, and all that good stuff. And also, if you tailed my picks for the unrivaled teams for the WNBA 3-on-3, I did get those picks correct. So if you want to know my thoughts on the games there, I could do some videos for them. They'd be pretty short, or I can just continue to put them at the back end of the NBA videos. Just let me know your thoughts on that. But my breakdown did do pretty well from what I saw, and then they put props out, and there was a lot of green in the Discord. I was able to hit this slip with a couple of Atlanta girls who I thought were going to play pretty well, and they went off. So first, this game at 4 p.m. Eastern is the Suns at the Pistons. Bradley Beal is doubtful. Yusuf Nurkic is out with an illness. And looking at the matchups and the lines that are out, Cade Cunningham does have a good matchup for points. He did go over earlier this year. The points line is pretty high. You could go with that if you really trust him and you think this is going to be a close competitive game. I like a guy that I went with last game, and he did well for us, and he's playing well, and it's Jalen Durant, and I like him over 19.5 at -129. Or you can go with a double-double at +150. He did get a double-double earlier this year versus them with 17 points and 11 rebounds, and he got a double-double in 1 out of 2 games versus them last season. They give up the 4th most points to the center position and the 8th most rebounds to the center position, and he's gone over in 5 out of his last 7 home games, and Outlier likes to give an insight, and he's gone over in 6 out of 7 games where he is facing a bottom 10 rebounding matchup. So teams that give up the most rebounds in the bottom 10, he has gone over this line 6 out of 7 times. If you guys could, please like the video. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a little bit of extra time, could you leave a comment for the algorithm? You could just put like the number 3, and that helps get the video out there for more people to see. And also, if you want to get away from something like Prizepicks that has a lot of flat lines and you want more options, more dynamic payouts, check out Underdog Fantasy, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, ChalkBoard, or Better. Better will match your first bet up to $250. The rest will match your first deposit up to $100. Links are in the description. That'll take you there with the promo code. Promo code is FINAROUND11. Thank you for anyone who uses that. This next game will be the 76ers at the Pacers. So Joel Embiid is out. Andre Drummond returned to practice, so he could be good for rebounds if he plays. Paul George is questionable, and then Gershon Yabusele was not at practice. So I don't see any really good matchups here for players who have been playing well. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey is going to be a go-to for points for the 76ers. The Pacers are starting to get healthier, and they're playing pretty well. So I do want to give a lean on the spread here. And the Pacers have won 7 out of the last 8 games by 8 points or more. And now they're going up against this beat-up 76ers team who have lost 4 straight in 7 of their last 9 games. If a guy like Paul George is out again, now you just have Tyrese Maxey playing hero ball again. And with Embiid not there, they're just not as competitive as they should be. So the Pacers are playing well. I do lean towards them if you want to take a spread pick or add a money line to like a parlay. This next game will be the Hawks at the Celtics. The Celtics will be on a back-to-back. So to note, note, the Celtics on a back-to-back, I'm going to put that on the screen this year. They have covered this spread in 4 out of 6 games. They hooked on one of them, and then they lost just outright against the Memphis Grizzlies. So not too bad on back-to-backs. They did get a blowout, so they were able to rest some guys. Like Porzingis was able to play just 23 minutes. So they're going up against the Hawks. Trae Young is probable. DeAndre Hunter is probable. Jalen Johnson is questionable. Good matchups all around the board for the Celtics players because the Hawks play at such a fast pace and they just try to outscore you and not play defensively. For the Hawks players, not too many good matchups for them because the Celtics like to play good defense. They take a bunch of threes and they blow teams out. So there's not necessarily a player here that I want to point out because the matchups are so good. You could go with a guy like Derek White, but he's been off and on. When it comes to the Celtics, they kind of just take turns who's going to go off that day. The guy who's been the most consistent that I've seen is probably Kristaps Porzingis. The Hawks give up the 9th most points to the center position. I don't think that's bad, and he did get extra rest. So this next game is going to be the Wizards at the Warriors. Jordan Poole going back to Golden State. High blowout potential here. Draymond Green is probable to play. A guy I do want to point out is obviously going to be Steph Curry. He's got the best matchup for point guards. There's really good matchups all across the board for the Warriors players, but he's been on a heater since the new year started. The Wizards give up the most points to the point guard position, 5th most assists, 5th most 3-pointers made. Since the new year started, he's averaging 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5.5 3-pointers made. So he did play them earlier this year. He played just 24 minutes and he scored 24 points. So it looks like it was a blowout and they kind of made a little bit of a comeback there. But he didn't need to play that much. So this is one you probably want to stay away from because of that high blowout potential. But if Curry's line looks decent, it is something you could go for. And then this next game is the Cavaliers at the Timberwolves. Timberwolves will be on a back-to-back. Cavaliers coming off of that embarrassing loss against the Thunder. Evan Mobley is questionable. Dante DiVincenzo will remain out. The Cavaliers, I feel like they'll bounce back. I checked. They've only lost 2 games in a row once this year, and that's when they played the Hawks in back-to-back games. They couldn't seem to figure out the Hawks just playing at that fast pace. And Jalen Johnson, they just couldn't figure him out, and they lost. And then they had to play him again, and they weren't able to make the right adjustments, and they lost again. But other than that, they have not lost 2 games in a row to 2 different teams this entire season. So I think they'll make the adjustment. I think guys like Donovan Mitchell will come up big. But if someone like Evan Mobley is out, then I think Donovan Mitchell is going to take it a lot on his shoulders to try to get a win here for the Cavaliers against a pretty good team. But one guy I did want to point out for matchup, the Cavaliers actually give up a decent amount of rebounds to the big man position. So you could look at someone like Julius Randle, rebounds. And then I checked the center position, and they give up the 8th most threes to the center position. And I know Naz Reid he's slated as a power forward / center on the depth chart. So Naz Reid just had a great game, and he will be traveling and going home and playing at home. But I could see him having another good game here since it is a good matchup for him. So the Cavaliers give up the 8th most 3-pointers to the center position. They give up the 6th most rebounds to the center position, and then the 5th most rebounds to the power forward position. So he's coming off a 23.8 rebound game where he shot 6 for 6 from the 3-point line. So he's a guy that could create headaches for the Cavaliers, who switch on a lot of things. So they're going to try to keep their big guy. Sometimes they like to just have one big guy on the court at all times, and then you'll sometimes have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. But if Mobley's out, it's going to be just Jared Allen. They'll switch on everything, and Naz Reid's going to get shots over guards potentially in the corner. So this final game of the night is the Rockets at the Trailblazers. Deni Avdija is doubtful to play, and I have to spotlight one guy who's just been on fire for the Rockets, and that is Jalen Green. The matchup isn't amazing, but it's average. They give up the 14th most points to the shooting guard position. And since the new year, in 8 games, he's averaging 30 points a game. They keep putting his points line around 23.5, and he keeps crushing it. So he did have just 17 points and 10 points against them earlier in the year in November. So if that scares you, you could stay away from him completely. But the Blazers, they've been blown out in 3 straight games. So the spread here is at -10. I would lean towards another blowout here. 3 straight games at home, and they're playing at home again. And the Rockets are just playing really well, really good basketball. So I would lean towards the Rockets on the spread here for this. So that is a breakdown of some of the games, giving some thoughts on some players with good matchups and all that. So if you'd like to discuss lines further, I have a Discord. Link is in the description. You can hop on in there, talk about basketball, playoff football, all that stuff, unrivaled basketball. There was a conversation in the WNBA section. Saw a lot of green. They didn't know really where to put the lines. They actually just put the points lines, only points lines up, and they were the points lines that were pretty close to what they had for the players on the year for the WNBA, but they're playing less minutes, but they're playing at a faster pace. They're actually scoring almost the same as a WNBA game. It was interesting to watch. But as far as a recap goes, I had Damian Lillard over 22.5 points. He hit that pretty easily. Mark Williams over 15.5 points. He hit that pretty easily. Trey Murphy over 20.5 points. He came up 1 shot short. Zion Williamson started just sucking up all of the volume there with the Pelicans. So he got close, but not quite there. So 1 shot short for Trey Murphy. And I didn't have anything in the pin comment for the rest of the day. I was really busy during the day, so I wasn't able to get anything in the pin comment. I'll try my best to get something in the pin comment for Saturday, and potentially put my unrivaled game picks in there. Again, I actually don't have them ready for this video. I didn't take a deep dive into those teams. I was focused just on doing this full slate because it takes a little bit longer to do these videos. So I'm going to get this edited and get it out to you. God bless you all. It's a final round. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.